I thought Mike Reese had a good tweet about all the leadership out the door for the Patriots after they cut Joe Cardona yesterday, which I don't think is shocking. In fact, we mentioned it earlier in the week. We were talking about it on Monday.
Well, the second they drafted a long snapper, you're like, all right, Cardona's either going to retire or they're going to cut him.
Well, but what you heard is, well, they want competition everywhere. It's a late round, 7th round pick. It was a priority undrafted free agent. Like, that's some of the defense you heard for anybody who said, well, they might be about to cut Joe Cardona.
Okay.
So that's what you heard, but a couple of days later, they just outright release him. Just like they outright released David Andrews. Both of these, I think, are weird.
Yeah.
But Reese tweeted out, with the releases of Joe Cardona and David Andrews, along with our guy, Keefe, Dietrich Wise, and Jonathan Jones departing as free agents, the 4 longest tenured Patriots are no longer with the team. The new longest tenured Patriots are safety Kyle Duggar, outside linebacker Anthony Jennings, offensive guard Mike Onwenu, all from the 2020 draft.
COVID draft.
Those are the
they
longest.
Have nobody pre-COVID.
They are
on the team.
No one pre-pandemic.
That's right.
On this roster. Good point.
So last year, to start the year, the Patriots had 6 captains.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yeah.
David Andrews, Jawan Bentley,
Mm-hmm.
gone. Jacoby Brissett,
yeah, Bentley's another good one. Brissett sneaky bad leader.
Terrible guy. Yep. Joe Cardona, gone. Dietrich Wise, gone. And Jabril Peppers would be the only one still here.
Why is he still here?
I don't know. Maybe they felt like he should have.
That might have been the one I moved on from.
Because they signed him last year.
That might have been the one I moved on from first.
He is off the commissioner's exempt list. He was able to come back and play. But yeah, so they had 6 captains. They were last year. It was, remember, they were either suspended, they were hurt, they got benched. It was kind of a mess anyway. And now you've just removed 5 out of 6 of them from the team anyway.
So, look, I have no problem with them.
This happens, though. I mean, you have a new coaching staff. Plus, you're also taking over a team that won 4 games in back-to-back years.
No, so listen, I have no problem.
Overall, this is good.
Oh, well, yeah, I have no problem cutting Joe Cardona. I don't care. David Andrews, I thought was weird they released him. If he plays again,
I don't think he is.
So I don't think so either. But I'm just saying that one I felt I felt like he deserved.
Let him retire, maybe?
Yeah, I thought he deserved a little more, to be honest.
I get it.
All these other guys, I don't care. I don't care that Jonathan Jones isn't back. Dietrich Wise, we talk to him every week. Don't care. Don't care about Cardona. I don't care about any of those.
Last year at this time,
Bentley, another one. Don't care. Andrews, I felt a little different about.
Yeah. Last year we were rolling our eyes at Elliott Wolf just re-signing all their guys.
Yeah.
So if the 2 options are re-sign all your guys or cut 1 million guys, I'll cut 1 million guys. Like, bring in new players. You had a big offseason in free agency. You drafted 1 million guys last week. So yeah, I'm good with it, but it does speak to, like, what a real changeover. I mean, the fact that the longest tenured guys are from the 2020 draft and all of your leadership, which I'm not saying was strong leadership, it was just the guys that were in those positions, are all now gone.
Yeah, so it's twofold to me. I don't care that really any of these guys are outside of Andrews, which I thought was awkward. I don't care who your long snapper is. I never cared about Joe Cardona. I don't care now. Great, service to the country, and we respect all of that.
Yeah.
But as a player, I never cared who your long snapper was. Never, not once. And it's stupid to draft a long snapper when they drafted him. It's stupid that they drafted one now. Ashby, the kid they drafted in the 7th round, it's dumb to draft a long snapper.
Although it's better than the 5th round, which is where I think they got Cardona.
It is better. That's better. So, I don't care they moved on from these guys. But it's clear Vrabel is making a decided effort to move away from the leadership of last year. And it's also clear they're scapegoating the decision makers a year ago, Mayo included, maybe even Wolf to a degree. As you suggested, he's the one who re-signed all these guys. They're making a concerted effort to do some scapegoating, some blame there as well.
Yeah.
On top of just getting the players out of the room.
But if you go back to last year, they basically thought that Bill Belichick and Mac Jones were the only problems because they got rid of Mac Jones, they got rid of Bill Belichick, and they're like, we're going to be so much better. And they won the exact same number of games. So this year, they're saying, all right, we're getting rid of the head coach, we're going to get rid of both coordinators, and we're going to get rid of a bunch of players. And like all the guys that have been here for a while, we're going to move on from that. So this is way more of a Band-Aid ripoff than even it was after removing Bill Belichick, the guy who was here for over 2 decades. This is more of a you look around the locker room and be like, wow, there's a ton of new faces in here.
So we just mentioned Peppers. I'm a little skeptical why he's still here and they drafted a safety, so maybe his days are numbered. Do you think they're done? You think they're done removing leadership from a year ago? Because you heard this drumbeat.
No.
You heard this drumbeat early in the offseason, Keefe. Curran told us. Curran gave us a bunch of names early in the offseason. We're like, that's interesting.
Yeah, Duggar and Ramondre were 2 of the ones that Curran mentioned.
So you started to hear this drumbeat early in the offseason from a lot of the beat writers. Specifically on our show, we heard it from Curran. But you'd hear this elsewhere, too. Vrabel's coming in. Guys who were leaders last year on the team maybe were too comfortable, and they want to get those guys out. And they're doing that. You don't think they're done? Who do you think is on the chopping block? You just named two.
I wonder if it's going to be more of one of those, like, let's get into camp and we'll let it play out, and these guys might not be guaranteed. Like Kendrick Bourne. Like, I don't think Kendrick Bourne's spot is a lock. I think the fact that he was good with Josh McDaniels in 2021 helps, but they just brought in 2 veteran receivers and a third-round pick, plus they have all these young guys. So it might be a numbers game, but that's a guy that seems like a pretty good teammate and is an NFL veteran, but he certainly could be gone. I kept waiting for Jelani Tavai to be gone. Maybe there's like, oh, we're going to keep him, and then we think there's good value there. But after what he said at the end of last year, like, get rid of that guy.
Well, hang on. So the guys were questioned. So this is interesting now that you bring it up, because Nick said it first about
Tavai?
No, was it Duggar? No, it was about Peppers. I'm sorry.
Peppers.
The guys that are all here that were kind of questioning why are they still here, they all got contracts last year. So maybe ownership is stepping in on some of these.
Yeah.
But if Vrabel had his way, would Ramondre be out? If Vrabel had his way, would Duggar and Peppers be out?
Seems like it.
Tavai's another one who's still owed money. So is ownership impeding that? Because
we didn't even mention Godchau's another one. Godchow was on the team he wasn't on the team for a really long time, but another kind of veteran guy on the team they got rid of.
Refresh my memory. What they gave him a deal, but did they give him a long-term deal, or did they give him like a year?
Probably funny money.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe Godchau flies in the face of that. Did they pay Bentley? Was Bentley part of the group they paid, and now they've moved on from him? I'm trying to remember. But some of the guys they handed money out to are still here. And so maybe if Vrabel really was able to do whatever he wants, which no coach or GM can do, you got to deal with an owner. If they really could do whatever they wanted, there'd be more names out of here, but maybe ownership is impeding on some of the guys they just paid who have guaranteed money still coming their way.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, really the only guy, right, that got re-signed was Austin Hooper. Of like all the guys that were on the team, that was one of the first moves of the offseason. Because you're looking at just like projected starting lineups, and I mean, it's over 50% turnover, right? Like on offense, obviously you're going to have Drake May. We'll see what happens with Ramondre, the tight end, and Onwenu. So it's basically 4 out of 11 spots on offense are going to be inherited guys. We'll see how the wideouts shake out, but I mean, there's a good chance it's, if healthy, Diggs, Hollins, and Williams on front of that. And then defensively, it's Barmore, Gonzalez, and for now, the safeties, Duggar and Peppers. But that's another one where you might have 7 different starters. I mean, you might have, out of the 22 quote-unquote starters, there might be 14 new guys.
It's a team that needed it.
Yeah.
By the way, just to mix this in quickly, for their offseason, the Patriots, according to Yahoo Sports, had the best offseason, free agency and draft combined.
Okay.
Number 1 in the NFL. They wrote the Patriots had a bunch of holes and went to work.
True. They went to work.
It's a Friday night. The defense got a handful of new high-priced starters in free agency. The offense got juiced with offensive tackle Will Campbell, Travion Henderson, and Kyle Williams in the draft. Steph Diggs was added in free agency. The New England Patriots remade their roster A.
They did.
So there you go. Best offseason according to Yahoo. Vrabel has come in and changed things around, remade it in his image as much as he's allowed to. So how do you feel about the leadership change in New England?